Fred is, or was, a comedian, a rising star in the world of comedy, working at the biggest clubs in the Northeast with some of the best in the business.
I'd been doing comedy for several years, and I was working 5 and 6 nights a week. My career was blossoming. I'd been named the funniest comic in Boston a few years before that.
Fred was playing the loser, and it was taking him straight to the top.
One of the best in town.
He's one of the kings of comedy.
Headlining all around the country.
He's very funny and soon to be your friend.
Please welcome. Put your hands together.
A nice round of applause for the comedy of
Simply Fred. Simply Fred.
Fred.
Getting the impression my gynecologist is ripping me off. There were the good times growing up. You know, my father used to throw me up in the air, run. When I was 15, I quit school and I ran away from home on the advice of my guidance counselor. Never cook bacon in the nude. I'll mess up your whole weekend. Thank you. Good night.
Fred won the week-long comedy riot in 1985.
I was working with lots of people who, their careers blossomed, and, I'd been at it for quite a few years and was ready to make the move into a headliner status. And then this happened, and now I'm here in the quiet corner of Connecticut.
But it's not just Fred's career that's on hold. Since the night of missing time, everything that's happened has taken a toll on his relationship with his fiancée, Nina.
At one point, she made me stop talking about it completely, which was not good for me. I mean, I couldn't... It's something I have to examine, and yet, if I'm forbidden to talk about it, where do I go? What do I do? She's finally agreed that I could examine it.
And examine it he will. Fred is about to dive headlong into the mystery of his missing time. He prays that he makes it back with his sanity intact and his world restored. Claire is not the only one to be unhinged by missing time. In comedy, as in life, timing is everything. One night, on the way to a gig in Vermont, Fred realized he'd lost several hours, and his entire life began to unravel. For him, too, it started with a sighting.
All of a sudden, I see this thing. It looks like the Goodyear blimp. That's what I thought it was. These lights started flowing over it. It's keeping my attention. I'm looking at it. I'm thinking, well, there's the Goodyear blimp, and pretty soon it's going to say Goodyear. In a few seconds, it's about the size of a volleyball. And I'm thinking, that's no blimp. Just as it's coming really close, a military plane comes by. As the military plane comes into view, the supposed blimp takes off to the north, and it outdistances the plane in a matter of seconds. It's gone. Got to the show, and I had one of the worst sets ever. I could not get the microphone to function for me. Every time I would pick it up out of the mic stand, the thing would short out on me as I got to a punchline. So I have to leave the mic in the stand for the rest of the show. The next comic gets up there. He has no problems with it. He can pick it up and use it without anything going wrong with it. 5 or 10 minutes down the road, I see the thing again. The lights are flowing over it, and it covers itself with lights, and when it's all lit up, it starts descending sideways. It's not a blimp. And it kept coming down, and I'm looking at it. It's coming down. It's out of control. It's going to crash.
And then, nothing. It was all over. Only a haze remained.
The sky is all lit up red. I have to pull into a motel. I'm exhausted. I can't drive any further. It's 1:30 in the morning. It's 15 miles from where I started, and it's 3 hours later. So there's no way I drove the whole way at 5 miles an hour. I got a lot of missing time there. It's just, I don't understand.
When Fred returned from his failed comedy gig in Vermont, after a bizarre sighting and missing time, he couldn't help but tell someone. Sometimes he wishes he'd kept his mouth shut.
As soon as I got back to town, I mean, it was the only thing I could talk about. It was the biggest thing that had ever happened to me, and I couldn't keep quiet about it. But, you know, I was telling other comedians about it, and they're not the people to tell.
Fred's UFO stories started to damage his reputation in the business.
I told one producer who was a former air traffic controller, and he just would have nothing to do with it. He just said, "Oh, you're talking to the wrong person here," and stopped giving me work.
But a damaged reputation wasn't the only problem Fred faced.
It just shattered my confidence. I mean, the key to doing comedy, to putting it over, is to be self-confident. And, you know, especially with the type of stuff I do, the self-deprecating stuff, it's right on the edge where if, you know, you don't do it right, the audience isn't going to buy it. I couldn't really focus on jokes when I've got UFOs plaguing my thoughts. I want my career back.
So, Fred writes to comedy clubs and agents, like a man in deep water, reaching out to those who can keep him from sinking. But in truth, Fred's nemesis now is his own mind. And until he reaches into it and digs deeper into the mystery of his missing time, he knows his career will remain on hold. Fred's career isn't the only thing affected by his experience. His plans for family and home are also on hold.
This is my 30-year renovation project. This will be a kitchen. Got a washer and dryer in. Well, the dryer's in. Washer's the next project. Got 3 floors here. The other 2 don't look quite as good as this.
A man who suspects he's being abducted finds himself on a runaway train. The people in his life must either ride with him or get off to save themselves.
Nina and I have been together for the last 10 years. She's everything to me. It's we've been engaged for a long, long time, and she doesn't want to believe that it can possibly be real, because, I mean, apparently from what I've read, it's a ongoing thing through generations, and she's deathly afraid that it'll affect our children if we ever have any.
Some members of Fred's family are willing to consider the possibility of abduction. Others refuse even to discuss it.
My mother and my brother and my sister all accepted it. My little sister didn't want to talk about it, and I think she may have been involved in some way. I had a memory that came back to me where I found this like a puncture wound on me as a kid. I started to examine it, and then I just sort of brushed my hand over it, and I said, "Don't look at that. It's all right. It'll go away." And I forgot about it. I saw the same mark on my little sister. And I asked her, I said, "What's that?" And she said, "It's okay." And she brushed her hand over it and said, "Don't look at it. It'll go away." And for some reason, I did. I let it go. And I didn't even think about it after that. In here is going to be my family room if I ever get a family.
Well, hypnosis is a tool that's used by the FBI. It's used by doctors, criminologists, and so forth to help people to get into a complete state of relaxation so they perhaps can remember or feel no pain and so forth. When you have someone who has suffered a traumatic experience, something that's so awful that they've buried it in the unconscious portion of their mind, hypnosis is very, very valuable, and it opens the doors for these things to come out.
So when people like Fred turn to Ray, asking for advice on uncovering the secrets of their missing time, he warns them of the dangers ahead.
My advice usually to these people is this: if you can live with what you can remember, just consider it one of those things which we have no real explanation from, one of the mysteries of life, and try just to live a normal life and put this in the background. Now, Fred has come to the conclusion that it's on his mind all the time and is causing him a lot of problems, and he really wants to know what happened during this missing time. Fred should be forewarned. It could either open Pandora's box, something really could have happened, a UFO abduction experience, or nothing at all.
It could help me. It could utterly shatter me. But I'm better off knowing, I think.
Although he's not investigating Fred's case, Ray has agreed to accompany him to his hypnosis session. The hypnotist will be Tony Constantino, the same man who hypnotized the Wieners. This time, Fred will sit in the chair.
We'll sit you down with Tony, and he'll put you into I would call a light state of relaxation, and we'll just ask you to tell us what happened.
And make me cluck like a chicken.
There is a risk, because once his missing memories are retrieved, Fred will have to live with them forever.
This experience will be in your conscious mind for the rest of your life, and there may be more questions than there are answers for, and you might be a bit more disturbed than you are now just about the missing time.
I'm aware of that.
Here we are.
Okay, I'm all set.
Yeah, well, just relax. Believe me, you will be relaxed in a few minutes.
Let's hope.
What Fred is about to uncover may grant him permanent membership alongside Jim, Jack, Claire, and Diana in one of the world's strangest and most exclusive clubs. Those who believe they are victims of alien abduction. It starts with being taken against their will.
They have me. I'm trapped.
One night, Claire had just called to bring the dog in at night. I'd just gone upstairs to go to bed. And she called me downstairs. Giant, huge UFO sitting over the orchard.
The beam came down on us, this hollow beam. It was as if it were alive. I don't know how to explain it. It just started doing something. I remembered feeling this intense pressure. This light is affecting me somehow, but I didn't know how. I was losing my sense of balance, out of control, not knowing what was going on. My body felt like it was just going to explode, like it was going to rip apart into 1,000 pieces. And all this is happening at once.
They find themselves somehow transported to a place unlike any they've ever seen.
And where are you? I don't know.
We're in this huge, giant cavern. It was bigger than any cave I've ever been in. Bigger than 4 or 5 airplane hangars or something. And it was filled with people.
We were separated into smaller groups. Diana was in a different group than I was.
And the next thing I remembered was being in this room somewhere. It's this brightly lit space, sitting on a bench that came out from the wall like a slab. They were completely naked. They had no clothes on. And they were just sitting, staring in front of them as if they were dummies.
Then an otherworldly being emerges.
They're horrible. They're not human.
As I was laying on this slab, this shadowy figure seemed to emerge out of this bright light towards me. They looked like bugs. It was not a person. It was not human.
They look like emaciated, almost colorless, although more gray.
And they had these fingers. There were 4 fingers.
They're 3.5, 4 feet tall. Sort of this dull shade of gray. They have oversized heads.
Very, very thin necks, like pencil thin necks.
These huge kind of eyes, like insect-type eyes.
The huge eyes are what scare me the most.
Black, deep, deep black.
The depth goes on forever.
They look at you, and it's almost as if like they're drilling you with these eyes. I mean, it's like they're draining your brain or something.
No words are spoken, but thoughts are somehow communicated.
It's not like speech, but they're communicating to each other.
I remember thinking, how on earth are they doing this? I'm not hearing them in my ears. I'm hearing them in my mind.
Sometimes I see pictures and I translate them to mean what those pictures mean to me.
They keep showing us these things, these horrible scenes of destruction.
And then there was this cryptic message that you must cooperate. You will cooperate.
They find themselves paralyzed by some alien force.
They said, come with me, but I wouldn't just go with them.
And do you see yourself going with them?
I'm trying to resist.
I felt totally helpless. I had no idea what their motives were. I just kept thinking, why aren't those guys doing something? Because I knew they were close by. I couldn't move my legs. Whatever it was paralyzed my muscles.
Then begins a bizarre examination of their bodies.
The real traumatic part of it was when it finally touched me. I got very frightened for Jack. They had instruments that they were scraping me with. They put this thing in my ear and my nose, and they were looking at my eyes.
The focus turns to the reproductive organs.
Played with my groin and took my sperm.
Seemed like they were taking sperm samples somehow. Suddenly my mind was filled with these, the only way I can describe it is like sexual acts.
It's intrusive. It is violating.
And I became sexually aroused, and they came out with some kind of device and collected a semen sample.
They're holding my legs down. No, it's not.
It's okay. Just relax.
The nightmare worsens as unspeakable procedures transpire.
I was lying on this table where they lowered something just kind of came out of this light that was over me and came down close to my chest.
And they turned the center lens on, which was bright red. It burned.
I was thinking about survival. I kept thinking, this is the next thing they're going to do is slit me open from one end to the other. These things seemed evil to me.
They stuck a needle in my eye and then popped my eye out of my head.
And put the tube right up against your eye. These little metal things come out and they reach right around the eyeball. They pump it right out.
Does it hurt?
Oh, yes. They say it's going to be all right, but they took my eye out. I just can't believe they did that.
I'm going to count from 1 to 10. Please keep your eyes closed until I reach the count of 10. When I reach the count of 10, please open your eyes. You will certainly be aware. You will be alert, fully in control. You will remember every single thing that happened, every single thing that was said. You will remember as much of this as you choose to remember.
The deed is now done. Fred's hypnosis has uncovered memories beyond his worst nightmares. Fred now believes he was abducted.
Open your eyes on 10.
Fred now remembers that the UFO he saw didn't crash. It overtook him. He remembers aliens taking him out of his car, conducting a physical exam, taking his sperm, removing his eyeball. And worst of all, he now remembers other abductions, going all the way back to his childhood.
Do you remember?
Yes.
And Fred is not the only one who remembers, not the only one to delve into the dark recesses of his brain and face the aftermath.
Introduction. Please welcome a man with no last name. Simply Fred. Hi, how you doing? My name's Fred. Go ahead, laugh if you want. It's not an easy thing not having a last name. It's not, because like a lot of times people call you by your last name. So, I hear silence. I think somebody's trying to call me. Makes it really tough.
For the first time in over a year, Fred is preparing to get back up on stage.
Last night I had the worst.
He was hoping that hypnosis would help him move forward.
I had this dream.
But when hypnosis brings forth images of alien abduction, is knowing better than not knowing?
But I didn't know whether I had woken up.
Will it help him revive his career? And even now, he still doesn't know why he would have been abducted in the first place.
I often have the impression that they scanned me and discovered I was a comedian, and they're like these intergalactic jokers who said, well, hey, there's a comedian. Nobody will ever believe him. Life is so hard. Takes up all my time. Everywhere I go, people try to make it difficult for me. Try to buy gas. Guy wants to know what my license plate. Right. I look like I have a head for details. I gotta walk back out to my car, bend down, wipe off my license plate so I can read it and repeat it over and over in my head. Walk back up there and say it's F-R-E-D. I don't know how many times that's happened. I haven't come to any real conclusions about what they're doing. But if they are here, I get the impression they've been here a long, long time. Maybe as long as we have.
4 days after Fred's hypnosis, 4 days after his subconscious released images of aliens removing his eyeballs. With alien abduction, not comedy, on his mind, Fred prays he still has his sense of humor. He'll need it, because in a few hours, Fred will get up on stage in front of 500 people and attempt to make them laugh.
Well, I haven't gotten on stage in over a year. I don't know how it's going to feel. I hope it flows for me. I hope I can just handle it. This'll do. Testing. Hello. How are you? Beautiful. This'll work. I can do this. How are you, man? Good. You gonna sit right there? Beautiful. Like to see people sit right up front. This isn't like church,
How you feeling after this hypnosis thing? It's been a couple of days now. What's the result?
It's been good and bad. It's helped me. I don't worry about driving around at night. 'Cause they can get me wherever I am. I told my girlfriend about what has happened, and she doesn't know whether to believe it or not. She says it's impossible, which is what I said, but she did say we're definitely not having kids. I've been trying to focus on this set. I haven't been able to, quite concentrate. I don't know if I want to continue investigating it. I might just want to say I'm better off forgetting.
How you feeling about tonight? About coming back?
Nervous.
Okay, I have to bring this next guy right up because he's just a fantastic act, and he's a very good friend of mine, and he's here right now. We're very glad to have him here tonight. Let's get a big round of applause for Simply Fred.
Hi, how you doing? Good. My name's Fred. Hi. I didn't have a lot of friends when I was a kid. They always used to ditch me. So I had an imaginary friend. He used to ditch me. No, I didn't really have an imaginary friend. I only thought I did.
Fred's gig went okay that night, but that doesn't change the fact that his life will never be the same, nor will Claire's, Diana's, Jim's, or Jack's. No one on Earth can say with any certainty what really is happening to these people. Even they aren't sure. But whatever it is, their journey has not been easy. And for each of them, there are hundreds, perhaps thousands of others who also wonder, what do they want? And why did they take me?
I don't know, hopefully it's some sort of organic brain disorder. And then the rest of the world is safe. But if it's not...
But if it's not a brain disorder, then what? No one knows how the story will end, but it might be wise to take heed. Because one day you too could find yourself saying, it starts with a sighting, then a slip in time.